Welcome, friends,
To the How-To Heretic.
I'm Uncle Mark.
I'm Uncle Dan.
And I'm Uncle Doug. And this is your user's guide to life on the outside.
That's right. Leaving religion is the first step into a larger, better world.
But it can also be a scary world. Things work differently now.
Never fear. That's why we're here.
Apparently, we sometimes remember we're your audio uncles. And with help from good friends and experts in all sorts of fields,
We're going to share the stories and seek the knowledge to build a great life.
after all, you only get one that we know of, so we better make the most of it. Let's do a show. Well, dear uncles,
Look at it. It's us in a room together.
the three of us, it is the devil's triangle of your favorite uncles.
High fives all around.
I'm so sorry for that image.
Yeah, right.
Forever.
Go drink a beer. It'll go away.
What a wonderful week it is and has been to be an American, a Utahn.
It's been a tough one.
Been a tough. It's fine if you are a wealthy and powerful straight white man
So make us into that.
Without a conscience.
without a conscience.
Yeah, right.
If you have all of those qualifications, God, what a week it's been.
If you have all those qualifications, call the White House.
Right? Yeah, you get a free job,
You
guaranteed.
will be on the cabinet by tomorrow afternoon.
Anywho, hey, we're going to talk about a few things today, but before we get to what we're going to talk about on the show, next week
Yes, a week from when we're recording, which is Sunday,
on
October the 14th, from 6 to 9 p.m.,
all of y'all,
anybody who can drive, fly,
if you're hearing
teleport,
this,
get here, come to Wasatch Brew Pub on Highland Drive in 2100 South. We're going to have a meetup. It's going to be great.
yeah, we want to meet you. We want to be friends with you. We're going to do that. We're even going to we've decided to throw in another event.
Yes.
For anyone, especially if you're coming in from out of town, but if you're not, that's fine too. Come and join us on Temple Square. We're going to give the patented
We're going to have a little walk around.
avuncular tour of Temple Square. That's going to be at 1 o'clock.
Meet at Brigham.
Meet at Brigham Young, which is at the sort of the point where Main Street
And South Temple.
hits South
intersect.
Temple.
Yeah.
It's in the middle of what used to be Main Street before we sold it to the Mormons.
Right.
So
There's a big statue of Brigham Young with his back to the temple and his hand to the bank, which is true.
Meet us
Meet us at the base of that statue at 1 p.m.
and we'll have a little informal walkthrough, and you'll meet Space Jesus.
Yes. If you're planning on coming to the meetup, you can go to the Facebook page and find the event for it. There's a link. You can RSVP. But even if you don't RSVP, that's fine. Still come. We want you there, and that's going to be a heck of a good time.
And then later we'll meet for drinks and nibbles and a little fun at Wasatch from 6 to 9. Nibbles will be provided. Cash bar. It's going to be great.
It's going to be a rocking good time.
We can't wait to meet you.
Coming up on today's show, Mark, you are going to guide us through something.
The myth, the legend, the Italian who worked for Spain, and
The Italian rapscallion.
and
the Genovese. I can't find a rhyme for that.
and we're soon to be celebrating his holidays, so we want to make sure you have all your recipes for the traditional dishes. It's
Right.
going to be a good time.
Yes,
then-
you will hear it after the actual event, and our patrons hear it on Columbus Day themselves.
Yes,
but
you gave it away.
shit,
yeah.
God damn it. Anyway, then what are we going to talk about?
I'm going to talk about a little piece of religious technology that is near and dear to Uncle Mark's heart.
Oh, that's fun.
And it is fun.
Pacemaker.
Cholesterol.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to take on a subject that is a semi-annual occurrence here in Salt Lake that's got me in a little bit of a lather.
Oh,
so-
yeah, you look a little foamy.
I am a little foamy.
It's
A little phlegmy.
yeah. I think we're all. It's just been a pissed off sort of week.
Yeah.
Let's blow off
Let's
some
go
steam
through this together. Yeah.
and we'll hold hands and walk through the valley of the shadow of death.
All right, y'all. See you on the other side.
Bye-bye.
Hey, Uncle Doug.
Uncle Dan.
You know, these United States of America,
God bless him.
a land of plenty,
Milk and honey.
and the promised land to many,
Yes.
including it was promised to a bunch of people who already owned it, and then that promise was never delivered on.
Yeah.
Well, they weren't really using it, were they?
Not to its fullest extent.
not the way we wanted them to be.
Yeah.
Or-
So So
Mark, you're going to guide us through an oppression expression.
Apropos.
yeah, a very apropos one. So, with apologies to our foreign listeners, unless you are Spanish and this is all your fault, fuck off. But
Or Italian. I mean, Italians are involved.
and then the Portuguese. It became an international effort.
A lot of blood on a lot of hands.
So our foreign listeners may not know that we have a holiday here in these United States celebrating one Christopher Columbus.
Oh, yes, we do.
And the celebrated day of his arrival here in not these United States, but just a little bit southeast in the Bahamas on October 12th, 1492. So we have a whole holiday dedicated to him, and I am here to say we should not.
That is a bad holiday.
It's a bad holiday, and let me lay out the reasons why I think that should not be. And in fact, some EVA municipalities like Seattle, for instance, don't celebrate.
Yeah, they've done away with it.
It's Indigenous Peoples Day, so
Right.
because there are some left, despite Christopher's best efforts.
Despite the best efforts of so many.
So, we can never revisit the true stories of history's luckiest lost traveler, Christopher Columbus, often enough. Now, we all read the children's books, the school textbooks, etc., about the heroic explorer, champion of commerce, and, of course, exporter of Christianity.
First guy to ever realize that the earth was round. Definitely first. Definitely 100%. That's the truth.
I was taught that as a kid.
I was too.
That he was the first one to theorize.
You remember the egg thing? He did some egg thing too.
I thought it was he would see the ships coming in and see the mast come up first.
Yeah.
And he's like, how do you say eureka in Spanish?
He's
Eureka!
I don't know. That it is definitely not true. It's been known, since it was discovered by I think it was Ptolemy.
yeah.
Everybody thought that at the time.
Yeah, it was
completely
They had already calculated the circumference of the Earth by then. They knew how
Exactly.
big around it was. They knew.
Well, there were varying ideas, and this is part of the whole Columbus story. Is that
If they knew how big it was, Christopher Columbus sure didn't.
yeah, right.
he didn't, and he didn't understand there was a difference between what were called Arab miles and standard miles, and it was the Arabs that first calculated the circumference, and they got pretty damn close.
Right.
And then his calculation was a much smaller Earth,
Right.
which is part of why he thought he was running into India.
Right.
And he was many thousands of miles away from India. So he was a dumbass. But anyway, he was a fairly competent sailor and son of a merchant. And he also apparently was not an unaccomplished weaver.
Really?
Oh, good.
So how about that?
Yeah, I mean, you got to have something to do on that long trek across the ocean.
Right. So anyway, the size of the Earth, spherical shape, blah, blah, blah.
You end up in the New World, and you're like, here, have a basket.
And put your head in it. But since this is regrettably neither a navigational nor a cartography podcast, which is unfortunate,
We could pivot.
we could totally pivot. It makes sense.
Cartography today.
How to cartography.
Right.
We'll stick to the behavior of our good Christian friend and his little, after his little ships bumped into the Bahamas and the luckless people there and beyond in the years following, and I quote, the discovery of the Americas.
Yes, which he definitely did.
All by himself.
100%.
Yeah.
If you don't count Lehigh and his and
Lehigh, that's right. Leif Erikson.
Well, and before all of them, Jared.
Mohan Ray Moriankamer.
Oh, I thought it was Jared.
It was his brother. It was Jared and his brother.
Oh, Jared Muhammad Nashman.
I know. I'll name you Jared, and I'm going to name you.
Okay. We got the Mormon deep cuts out of the way. Good. Let's go.
So
let's go back to
there'll probably be more. But anyway,
horrific reality as opposed to horrific fabrications.
let's before we talk about Christopher again and his amazing discovery. Let's take a minute to remind ourselves that in these business-friendly United States, we have, in our now 242 years as a republic, found only 11 reasons to have a federal day off. That's not one per month. So Christopher Columbus has been deemed important enough to single out for 1/11th of our finite national sainthoods, alongside Jesus, which is Christmas holiday, obviously.
Right. Yes, of course.
Presidents Washington and Lincoln.
Sure.
We have President's Day, honoring our founding president, and the one who, for reasons that become less clear by the day, saved the republic.
Right.
And we honor that day by buying mattresses. There's a day for Martin Luther King, who forced us to be a little better by getting himself shot.
A little.
Memorial Day for the memory of all of our dead, and Christopher fucking Columbus.
Peace be upon him.
Hallowed be thy name. So Columbus bumbled into the Bahamas after 5 weeks at sea on October 12th, 1492, and we all know that.
It only took 5 weeks.
It only took 5. It was
I
like
just
30
always imagined it was like 12 years on the ocean.
It was like 34 days or something.
Okay.
That seems like a long time still.
I mean, it's a long time, but it's
Yeah.
but it just feels like. I mean, it's definitely a long time.
Yeah.
Remember, their ships were very small.
Yeah.
They were really tiny ships. The Santa Maria maybe was 100 feet long.
Wow.
So these were little tiny ships without a huge capacity for stuff.
Right.
So they didn't have a lot of stuff.
You just set sail and hope there was food at the end.
Yes, and boy was there. So here is a quote from him with his very first impression of the kind people that were amazed and excited to see these new strangers. Quote, I'm quoting Columbus here in perfect Spanish. They brought us parrots and balls of cotton and spears and many other things, which they exchanged for the glass beads and hawk's bells. They willingly traded everything they owned. They do not bear arms and do not know them, for I showed them a sword, and they took it by the edge and cut themselves out of ignorance. They would make fine servants. With 50 men, we could subjugate all of them and make them do whatever we want. The first fucking thing he had to say about discovering the New World.
That's impressive.
Wow. Yeah.
That is some solid. Like, hey, here, want some trinkets? Oh my God, these guys are going to be easy.
Super slaves. So anyway, I'm going to stop using the word discover because that's fucking colonizer bullshit. So these were the Arawak natives of what Columbus thought was part of India. This was a common sight as they island hopped around the warm Caribbean, that these incredibly generous and kind people would come out happily sharing everything they had with these fascinating new strangers. To them, it was kind of amazing to see this, right?
Yeah.
And again, let's set aside something that a lot of people think happened, which is that the Indians could not see the ships.
Oh God.
I do remember that.
God.
Well, explain what that myth is.
It is-
because some people won't know it.
It is a canard that I don't even know who came up with this fucking thing, but it was expounded in that amazing movie, What the Bleep Do We Know,
Yeah.
which is a celebration of all the woo, that they had no cultural context
For
for this moment, so it was literally invisible to them.
It was so far outside of their experience that they couldn't process it.
I've never seen a blank, and therefore cannot see a blank.
It was like the Predator ship came to shore.
Well, a human lifetime is nothing but a collection of seeing things you've never seen
Right.
before.
Right, yes.
Right? You've never seen a palm tree before you see one. You've never seen a tiger before you've seen, and then
Which
you're
is
dead.
what I mean. Maybe we don't know. Maybe the first palm tree all of us ever saw, we didn't see,
Yeah.
and the second one is the one that we saw.
Well, that's why they didn't see the Santa Maria. They saw the Nina.
Right? They're like, I don't see any. Oh, look, there's a boat. Oh, wait,
There's two ships out
By
there.
the time they saw the Pinta, they were sick of boats. Too many boats. So anyway, diversion into absolute stupid that more people than you think believe
Right.
Yeah.
about that. So anyway, as you can surmise from the quote I said above, these people were very kind, but only one side was dealing in good faith, right? So Ferdinand and Isabella, as they were known collectively, they were called the Catholic monarchs, had just completed a bloody campaign to free the Iberian Peninsula of the Moors. Another nice religious war for you.
and a really pleasant way of saying kill all the black people.
Yeah, kill all the Muslims and the black people. So there was a brutal series of battles called the Reconquista. They unified Spain, and they were willing to fund Columbus's mad westward voyage so long as he came back with lots of gold. So he'd been trying with all these different monarchs throughout Europe to get this funded for years.
Was it gold or because traditionally you went to the Indies for spices, right?
Well, they wanted spices, they wanted slaves, but they wanted gold.
Okay.
And the reason being, they were broke from these wars, and this was the time when the great European powers were kind of coalescing into big nation states.
Right.
And so that there was a real multiplying power in all the feudal states getting together. So they just found themselves with a lot of land, but very poor at the wrong moment. They needed gold.
Yeah.
So they said, call yourself whatever you want, Admiral of the Ocean Sea, be the governor of all that shit. Do whatever you want when you get there. Just send gold back. Right? So,
Which I would do.
right. Yeah, okay. I'll take it. So from the minute they made landfall, the hunt was on.
Yeah.
He noticed the natives were wearing tiny gold earrings. This would turn out to be a disastrous choice for them in hindsight. Columbus,
How often does fashion indicate genocide? It happens a lot. I'm
You just
saying.
never
More
know.
often than you think.
you never know when you're accessorizing what's going to happen next. So don't accessorize. That's what I'm saying. So he went back to Spain, promised his beloved Catholic monarchs a moon of gold flowing with rivers of silver, and returned to the Caribbean with 17 ships and 1,200 men.
Holy cow.
His men tore through the island of Hispaniola, which is now where Haiti and the Dominican Republic are, and everything's been fine there since.
Yeah. No problems.
Heaven on earth.
And they were looking for the mountains of gold he promised, and they didn't find it. So, in a panic, Columbus decided to make up for the lost gold tonnage with human tonnage. So his men went on a massive raid. Again, Columbus wasn't new to the idea of slavery. One of the first acts, I think it was on the first day when they arrived in the Americas, was to take a local woman on board for his friend to rape,
Oh,
Fun.
which he only managed to do after nearly beating her to death because she put up a fight. So,
Rude of her.
yeah, day one, guys, you're killing it.
Jesus.
And as we saw in that first quote of his, a delight in the possibility of abusing the locals was a close second to the tacky-ass metal the Queen wanted shiploads of.
Right.
Slaves were also considered legal tender by the God-anointed Catholic monarchs back home. In a little aside about the gold gathering, they ordered every resident of Hispaniola over the age of 14 to produce a sizable quantity of gold every 3 months. If they were able, they received a copper token to hang around their neck. Any man, woman, or child caught without this token would summarily have their hands cut off for laziness.
Fuck.
It was a gold poor island. There were just
right.
tiny trace amounts of it.
Yeah.
So
This is not like we're not talking about the gold rush here. We're talking about they're
tiny,
lucky
tiny
if they found any.
trace amounts of gold.
And they didn't have it's not like they had smelting techniques or whatever.
They were able to melt the gold into the nuggets and kind of shape it into things. 'Cause
Okay.
one local guy, king of some kind, or chief, had a small gold mask,
Oh, okay.
and that was what really convinced Columbus that there must be
Just
vast quantities of it.
right.
And as it turns out, the areas that Columbus personally kind of tainted were not gold intensive areas. That would
Right.
come a little later. So
As a side note, how telling of our species is it that for centuries, for millennia, we've been dazzled by shiny metal?
yeah, still
That's been the most valuable thing in the world.
Yeah.
Is just shiny metal to put on your body,
yeah,
to
or,
decorate yourself,
or to
with.
make a toilet out of if you're really classy.
Right. Exactly.
They got a lot of class. So, they got their hands cut off. They died. They bled to death. So he and his men, that gold aside, now back to slavery, Columbus and his men rounded up 1,500 human beings and put them in pens where they were guarded by these huge war dogs that the Spanish had that were terrifying. They picked the 500 best specimens, whatever the fuck that means, and loaded them onto ships for Spain. 200 died in transit and tossed overboard. This marks the beginning of the transatlantic slave trade. Wow. So the first ship went east rather than west, right? So he was sending American slaves to Spain. The first loads of human beings headed east. The very first shipload of enslaved Africans were sent by order of the king to Columbus in 1501.
What?
Yeah, and it would be a couple decades later, in 1526, before the Portuguese started the endless loads of Africans heading west to replace the depleted population of slaves in the new lands of Spain and Portugal, and then the Johnny-come-latelys of the British and the French. So Christopher Columbus is rightly called the father of the transatlantic slave trade. And that is awesome. So
Yeah.
why did the colonizers need to begin the full-scale rape of a whole other continent to facilitate the rape of the Americas? It was because in addition to the fully conscious murder, enslavement, and rape that was causing widespread death among the indigenous Americans, most everybody knows the Europeans brought unseen pestilence that the natives had no immunity to, like smallpox and measles and cholera, etc.
And you know what? Because they'd never had cholera, they couldn't see it.
They couldn't catch it. Oh, it's funny. So, in addition to being worked to death and just straight up murdered, it's really hard to know how many people there were and then weren't. But it's been estimated that 90% of the native population between that breezy day in October when Columbus first got his old world pantaloons wet and 1900, 90% of the population was depleted of the native population. So Africans, as it turns out, had largely the same immunities, though not always exactly the same as the colonizers. So Africa got rampaged so they could rampage the Americas.
Okay. Because they wouldn't get sick.
That's right. They would die eventually of being worked to death and murdered.
Sure. But like you at least get your money's worth.
But they didn't die of smallpox.
Yeah, Africa, I've got good news and bad news.
Congratulations on your immunity.
This is the best advertisement for anti-vax I've ever heard. You know what? Fuck it. Don't vaccinate.
I can still get polio. No enslavement. No enslavement.
I'm very vulnerable to the pox. Oh, it's funny. Now remember, through this new door of discovery that Columbus kicked open, loads of other bad actors poured through. Very soon there was Cortez in Mexico, Pizarro in Peru, the Portuguese in Brazil, the French in Haiti, the English in North America. What they all had in common was a strong faith in the divinity of Jesus Christ.
Correct.
A European sense of God-ordained destiny and a voracious need to pay back their loans.
Yeah.
And to get rich. So then the question...
I mean, it sounds like the stories of today. I mean, maybe not slavery, but you combine all of those things, the desire to get rich, a solid Christian background.
And debt.
And debt. And
What can go wrong?
And everything goes correctly.
Yeah.
Everything goes according to plan.
So a lot of people would say, apologists would say, well, weren't these just greedy, corrupt, venal men, far from the view of the Pope and their monarchs who wouldn't have stood for any such barbarity? Well, that's bullshit. So because church and state and military and economy were indistinguishable from each other, the act of one was the act of all.
Yeah.
The greed was as intertwined with their religious radicalism. It was intertwined in such a way to make them articles of the same faith.
Right.
Totally.
And to prove that, here's some information about the popes back home. So when Islam presented a serious military threat to Italy and Central Europe during the mid-15th century, Pope Nicholas V tried to unite Christendom against them but failed. He then granted Portugal the right to subdue and even enslave Muslims. Pagans and other unbelievers in the papal bull that we're all familiar with, Dum Diversas of 1425. Several decades later, European colonizers and missionaries spread Catholicism to the Americas, Asia, Africa, and Oceania. The 1455 papal bull Romanus Pontifex granted the Portuguese all the lands behind Cape Bajador, wherever that is, and permitted these godly emissaries to reduce pagans and other enemies of Christ to perpetual slavery. So, straight from the Pope's mouth, slavery was fine with Christ and business was good.
Well, have you read his book? Christ's book?
Oh, yeah.
The whole book's just full of slaves.
The care and feeding of slaves.
Yeah, Jesus himself was talking about how be nicer to your slaves.
Yeah.
Never don't have slaves. Right. That was not on the menu.
That's the rule of thumb. Don't beat him with a stick bigger than your thumb.
Right.
Just come on, Jesus. So anyway, in a measure of fairness, no one involved in this horrendous story deserves. I will note that some local priests on the ground in the Americas were appalled by the insane cruelty and agitated for a more moderate, but not necessarily a complete end to the savagery.
Because they were Jesus followers. The true followers of Christ.
Mm-hmm. So this eventually caused Pope Paul III to issue an edict called Sublimis Deus in 1537.
Which means subliminal God.
That means, yes, the God you can't see on his ship. Begrudgingly saying the natives were actually human and should be afforded baptism into Christianity, whether they wanted it or not.
Wow.
So fair play there,
acknowledging their
assholes.
humanity.
What a step forward.
And
amazing.
People were furious. Of course, the conquistadors and the business end of that stick were furious about it. So, but don't worry. Enslavement and extermination hardly noticed the cool new wax stamp from Rome tacked to the bulletin board, and things just carried on like before. So we wandered a little far afield from our friend Christopher. So by now in this tale, he's dead. He only made it to 54, but before he shuffled off to what was likely a shitty slide into hell by a gonorrhea-related disease.
Shocking.
Yeah. He wrote a book in which he described a desperate moment, sick and alone on his ship, waiting in fear while his men had gone ashore to kill a bunch of natives, but instead they had walked into an ambush and were getting destroyed. A voice came to him in his pussy brain while his balls were rotting off. It was, as he would later describe it, a call to repentance. And let me read it to you. O fool, and slow to believe and serve thy God, the God of every man, what more did he do for Moses or for David, his servant, than for thee? For from thy birth he hath ever held thee in special charge. When he saw thee at man's estate, marvelously did he cause thy name to resound over the earth. The Indies, so rich a portion of the world, he gave thee for thine own, and thou hast divided them as it pleased thee. Of those barriers of the ocean sea, which were closed with such mighty chains, he hath given thee the keys. Thou hast won noble fame from Christendom. Turn thou to him and acknowledge thy faults. His mercy is infinite. Does that really sound like a call to repentance?
So his great sin was dividing up the land and not keeping it all for himself.
And just his greatest sin was his overall wonderfulness.
Right.
That doesn't sound made up at all.
No, well, he may have actually had that experience. The fever dream of being told by God how great you are, that sounds about right.
The voice in your head might just be telling the truth.
Well, might just be telling you what you believe about yourself. So, I'm pretty sure that Donald John Trump has had that exact dream a number of times.
In his own voice. You're terrific. You're wonderful. Your father loved you.
You're the best president anyone's ever seen.
So, as we know,
huge.
Columbus never really repented a fucking thing. And as I read it, it's a piece of fan mail from an admirer. So, see, in his book called The Book of Prophecies, again, Columbus never wavered in his Christianity. He was a good Christian man, and everything he did was what was anointed by God.
Right.
Columbus saw himself in the book as an instrument of the Second Coming. He saw his pious Christian patrons, the Catholic monarchs Ferdinand and Isabella, as the last emperors of earth who would conquer Jerusalem for Christ. And he himself was the sword of God that brought Christianity to these new lands of the West. Never mind that the hole he kicked in the world drained it of at minimum 50 million lives, and that native people still struggle to recover from the seismic shocks he caused to their universe. Christopher Columbus saw himself as an agent of the end of the world, and for once in his shitty life, for countless millions of people, he was right about something.
Yeah, well.
So I say, fuck that guy. And everybody enjoy celebrating Indigenous Peoples Day.
Yeah. One wants to make jokes, but it's literally just fuck that guy.
Yeah, and I don't know what the defense of Columbus Day is anymore. Knowing what we know, what's the point of it? Why?
The defense is literally just, but what I was taught in school is different from what you said.
Yeah.
Right, and I think it's also just it's using the word kind of broadly, it's a conservative take on history. Right. History is written by the winners. And when I joked at the beginning that, the locals weren't using it, that's what planting a flag really means. This is mine now.
Yeah. Right.
Because you don't...
Do you have a flag? Well, then.
That's right.
Well, and it's also like, I plant my flag and they say, excuse much, we're here. Well, we have better weapons.
Stab.
So you lose.
Stab. Do we understand each other now?
Here, hold the pointy end of my sword.
Right. Let me just push this. Oh, did that kill you?
So I think there is, there is an old school / conservative identity, a patriarchy in this country that doesn't want to give up on that history. Because then it's admitting some things.
Right, exactly. Doesn't want to admit to... I mean, there's a collective sin that we as the sort of European...
the global north.
The people who have benefited from this these acts of horror...
Yeah.
We don't want to atone for this.
No.
Right. Like we'll talk about the slave trade, I'm sure, in another segment in great detail and all the good Christian men that made that happen. that's the original sin of the United States.
Sure.
And we still not fucking come to grip with it.
No.
So
No, I mean,
but it's true. If Christopher Columbus is taken down, who's next? And I mean, that's actually a
Right.
valid question.
right. Well,
Your Benjamin Franklins and your George Washingtons have some
Thomas
shit in their past.
Jeffersons.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to start actually asking the real questions about these guys.
right, and last year a woman got killed in a protest because some municipality decided to take a Confederate general statue down.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's crazy how much this history suddenly matters when you agitate the wrong people.
Well, and the true meaning of the word conservative is wanting things to remain the same.
Not wanting things to change.
And so I've developed a hero in my mind.
Yeah.
Don't fucking take away my hero.
And even if you can show the math, the 50 million fucking people
Right.
died hellaciously.
You're wrong. He was not a hero.
Entire civilizations perished from this earth.
Yeah.
He made he found a place based on
Bad math.
on bad calculation.
Yeah.
No heroics there.
Yeah.
Instantly wanted to enslave the people.
Yeah. His first thought is enslave these dipshits and plunder like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
Right. If I get in my car and tell you, "Hey, Dan, I'm going to Chicago," and I end up in New Orleans, I'm not a fucking hero.
Right. Especially if
I'm an idiot.
if you end up in New Orleans and just start shooting people until they give you all of their stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not a hero.
Yeah.
That's a monster.
So
But if you do it in the name of the Lord, then it's okay.
let us be a cry from the wilderness.
Yeah,
let
exactly.
us to this very day say fuck that guy.
Right.
No more Columbus Day. Let's enjoy Indigenous Peoples Day.
Right.
Get crazy.
Fuck you, Columbus.
Yeah.
Fuck you.
All right, let's move on.
Let's move on.
Well, Uncle Dan.
Yeah. I do know Uncle Dan. He's me.
Yeah. But can you really know thyself?
It's a good question.
But that's not the question we're asking today. The question we're asking today is, what is the science of religion bringing to the table? What is the cutting edge?
Maybe I could know myself if I did an e-meter.
Oh, absolutely.
Can you e-meter yourself?
No.
No.
Because they don't work on anybody, no matter who's doing it. But
That's the Scientology version of Schrodinger's cat.
if you e-meter yourself, I think you disappear into a volcano of Thetans.
That's right.
Yeah.
If you e-meter yourself, you go blind.
I've heard that.
So our Uncle Doug, who is our special religious technology correspondent, is here today to talk about
Well, yes, indeed.
what's the latest
Well, I thought
in unscientific America.
Did you go to religious CES?
it,
in anti-scientific American, the
Right.
journal.
this
religious
particular
technology.
little piece of scientific technology was a lot of fun to research because, Uncle Mark recently had a birthday. I think his 64th birthday.
Happy birthday, Uncle
yeah.
Mark.
And
None of that's true, but go ahead.
and I thought we could talk about something that he is uniquely familiar with.
Oh boy.
Yeah. So I thought today we could talk a little bit about the Necronomicon.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. So
I don't think that's real.
I've held it in my
actually kind
hands.
of funny. The Necronomicon is there a convention for the Necronomicon?
Yes, exactly. It's
It is a fictional book of sacred scripture, which is as real and credible as the Bible, the Torah, the Talmud, the Quran, the Book of Mormon, the Orange Catholic Bible, and Xenu's 1,000 Ways to Cook a Thetan.
The Orange Catholic Bible. Oh, fuck yeah, Dune.
Oh, pardon me.
I'm going to enjoy this bit.
Yeah, oh, you will.
Okay.
The Necronomicon is what is referred to as a grimoire. It's a textbook of magic. That's the actual name for it. It was first referenced in H.P. Lovecraft's short story *The Hound* in 1924.
Oh.
Yeah. In the story, two grave robbers exhume a jade amulet from a skeleton they recognized from its description in, quote, the forbidden Necronomicon of the mad Arab Abdul al-Hared.
Also known as the online Goop shopping directory, where they got the jade egg to put in the skeleton.
/ anarchist cookbook.
Yeah.
The two robbers meet a predictably dreadful end, and then the Necronomicon doesn't play any more role in that particular story, which, if you haven't read, you should. It's great. Interestingly, among the trophies these two tomb raiders have in their basement in that story, there is a bound and locked portfolio in tanned human skin. which was not the Necronomicon, although that is kind of the style and look it's taken in popular culture.
Yeah, that is the Book of Mormon.
Lovecraft, as you well know, is not only the creator of the Necronomicon, but the inventor of such notable deities as Cthulhu and Yog-Sothoth.
Are you sure it's not Cthulhu?
Cthulhu.
Cthulhu.
Also inventor of
Cholula.
Cholula, the hot sauce.
Yeah. The god of hot sauce.
Lovecraft claimed that the title of the Necronomicon came from the Greek, meaning an image of the law of the dead. It has also been interpreted as the Book of the Names of the Dead, Book of the Laws of the Dead, and Sprinters Aren't Real Swimmers. So even though even though it was a throwaway reference in a small story, the book took on a life of its own, and Lovecraft even wrote a story called The History of the Necronomicon. In it, he wrote that it was originally called Al-Azif, which is translated to that nocturnal sound made by insects which presage evil.
What?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
They got a word for that?
Yeah. Well,
in Arabic?
This is all made up. Lovecraft made
All
all
is
this
okay.
up. Yeah.
Okay.
So it's just part of his, his mythology, and it was in a bunch of his stories.
Right.
And he didn't need to actually look up anything in Arabic.
No, 'cause he's making it up.
Who would ever find anything out anyway?
He didn't research any Greek or any Arabic. He just made it all up. It's fucking fiction. All
Okay.
right. So in his story, the book is passed from mystic to mystic over hundreds of years across the Middle East and Eastern Europe before finally making its way to America and being translated into English in the early 20th century.
Bad idea, guys. Don't translate those books.
So Lovecraft wrote very little about the contents of the book, except that it was full of evil and dangerous writings. There is one passage, however, in the story The Nameless City, which he attributes directly to the Necronomicon, which is, quote, "That is not dead which can eternal lie, and with strange eons even death may die," which sounds very Necronomicon-y. Mm-hmm. So,
Necronomiconical.
although the book was an invention by Lovecraft, completely made up, within his lifetime, several versions of the book were created by fans and pretenders.
Wow.
It shows up to this day in online book sales, bookstore inventories, and library catalogs, even though it doesn't technically exist.
I love it.
The Vatican, even today, receives requests for it in the Vatican Library.
If there is one, they have it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So there are several actual versions of the Necronomicon that have been created, and they're completely apocryphal, completely made up, but they exist. Among the several versions, there was a real translation published in the 1970s under the pseudonym Simon, and it has sold over 800,000 copies and is still in print today.
Oh, my God.
So, yeah, so just he made up the book as just part of a story, and now it exists. It's like blue meth.
I love it.
Yeah. The Necronomicon has made several appearances in pop culture over the years, notably in Friday the 13th 9, Jason Goes to Hell, which we will not talk about today. However, the most famous and important appearance is in the Evil Dead film trilogy.
That's right, motherfuckers.
Yeah. So,
Yeah.
The Evil Dead 2, Dead by Dawn, 5 college students go on vacation in a cabin in the woods and find a copy of the Book of the Dead, a.k.a. the Necronomicon Ex Mortis, along with a tape recording of someone reading from the book. When they play the tape, the evil Dundarian demon is loosed and begins to kill them one by one, turning them into zombie-like deadites. The protagonist of the movie, Ash, played to perfection by Bruce Campbell, manages to use the Necronomicon to open a portal that sucks in the demon, but also pulls him, his new chainsaw appendage, his shotgun, and his Oldsmobile Delta 88 into it, sending them back to the year 1300. So...
and that's where Uncle Mark joins the story.
Exactly.
Yes.
I was there in the year 1300.
That's right.
Yeah.
So before you take on the story, I just thought people might be wondering about that particular shotgun. And if you're wondering, it is a 12-gauge double-barrel Remington made in Grand Rapids, Michigan, with a walnut stock, cobalt blue steel, and a hair trigger. It retails for about $109.95 in the sporting goods department. So remember, shop smart, shop S-smart. But for you primitive screwheads, we'll just call it his boomstick. So... Somebody's laughing. I promise. Somebody's laughing really hard.
These are inside jokes for those of you who adore the Ash films.
The work of one
Sam Raimi.
sainted Sam Raimi.
Yeah. So Uncle Mark was there at the time.
Take over, Mark. We want to hear some
Here's how there
storytelling.
I was. I was 15 feet from Bruce Campbell when he said, "Shop smart, shop S smart." This is my boomstick. Yeah, I was 15 feet away. So, yes, your Uncle Mark, in addition to being celebrated podcaster and man about town and sex bomb,
Celebrated at least in his own home.
one of those things is true.
At least in his own head.
Was I operated a puppet or two on Army of Darkness and It was a crazy time.
Yeah.
And I held the Necronomicon in my very hands.
That's right.
Because for days it just sat. If you remember the scene where it's kind of locked in a strange little vestibule,
Yeah.
with like a Sears garden gate in front of it, it just sat there for weeks while we were shooting, so you
Right.
could just kind of go look at the Necronomicon. So yeah, it is, and it was a cool, rubbery, skin dead prop.
Yeah.
I love it.
I mean, and if you have not seen the Evil Dead movies, and most particularly Army of Darkness, you have no business listening to this podcast and should delete the app and refund our money. So
Refund our money.
Wait, we're paying people to listen to this? I feel like we're doing this backwards.
Dan didn't know that. Yeah, if you're not dork enough to know what the Orange Catholic Bible is and
Yeah.
the Necronomicon, maybe you should just go. You know, you should go be a Mormon.
this is turning into a comic book podcast.
I do not agree with any of this.
But
I don't know what any of you people are talking about.
in truth, having worked with Sam and a lot of the people in that universe, if you have not Evil Dead 1, you can miss. It
Yeah,
doesn't
Evil
make-
Dead 2 is a remake of Evil Dead 1,
Yeah,
essentially.
it doesn't make a lot of sense, but you can forget Evil Dead 1. It's not great. Evil Dead 2, it's October,
Oh, yeah, definitely.
is weirdly one is said by many horror directors and creators is the most influential horror film among other horror filmmakers ever.
Yeah.
And it's one of those fun, like it sort of pioneered the genre of comedy horror.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's joyful. It's hilarious.
It's just a
and
it's
a bloodbath.
It's
yeah.
a bloodbath.
but playful the entire way.
It's
Yeah.
weird and funny, and it's just how he invented this genre that hit all those strange notes is just something else. And then we took it into a very strange direction with King Arthur.
Yeah.
in Army of Darkness, and there you
and,
go.
And the plot in Army of Darkness, Ash, in order to return to his own time, he must find the Necronomicon, but before he can take possession of it, he must say the mystical words. Anybody?
Klaatu Varata Nikto.
Close.
Close.
Barada.
Barada, which was from originally
The day the earth stood still.
Day the Earth Stood
Boy,
Still.
we're getting in there.
wow.
There's
Wow.
one guy just bubbling with excitement right
Jizzing.
now.
Right? Yeah. And it's Uncle Mark.
So there's not much more to it. I mean, aside from the fact that the additions that literally exist are just stupid. You know,
They're fanfic.
they're yeah, basically
fanfic.
yeah. Some people actually believe that there is some mystical power to it, but of course there's not.
I mean, here's what's interesting about this. There's very little difference between this kind of thing where some fucking sci-fi writer has conjured up this idea,
Yeah.
and it finds its way into the sort of common lexicon and
Into the ether.
the zeitgeist, and then it just becomes a thing.
Yep. Now it's just part of it.
And so I think that like this kind of thing is where a lot of religion has come from. Like a significant amount of actual genuinely believed religion started as someone just coming up with a thing.
Of course.
And then it gets the rumor mill gets around like a fucking virus.
Right.
And then before you know it, people just believe it. And then, at some point, some pope is like, well, yes, of course that's true. We all know it's true.
It's the telephone game. Like,
Yeah.
look at when did Lovecraft write the story with the Necronomicon? In
1924.
the 20s, right?
Yeah.
People in 100 years later, less than 100 years later, think the Necronomicon is real.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Other than a movie prop.
And
They think it's a
Lovecraft
real thing.
never meant really for this to happen. He didn't
No,
even
of
really
course
want
not.
it to. It literally just took its own life on and became a thing.
And this is the kind of thing that happens, that plays out over and over and over again. And nobody looks at the source. I mean, this one, what's lovely is that we have the source. We know exactly the font from which it flowed.
Yep.
But
We can trace it to its origin.
but so many of these other ideas
Yep.
weren't, Christianity is just chock full of ideas that weren't from the Bible,
Right.
Right.
that just made it into Christianity because someone said it, 8 other people believed it, and passed it on to 8 other people.
It's kind of a miracle that the writing method involved preserved the story of Utnapishtim,
Right.
and we know
Right.
that is the source. I mean, it's obvious that is the source for the biblical story of Noah.
Right.
So that's a rare occasion where something from that much antiquity we know fairly certainly.
Well,
But here we can see it in microevolution.
Right, but what's so strange about it too is we can trace this back to the author.
Yeah.
The author said, "Yeah, I made it up," but even and still, we have that on record. We know when it happened. Even and still, there are people who believe it's sacred.
Yeah.
Right.
Like in the 20th century.
Dum-dums.
Yeah.
We are a species of believers. We
Yeah.
believe things.
Yeah, well, if you want to believe things, you could do worse than the Necronomicon. That's for sure.
It's pretty bad.
You could do no, yeah. It's not real. That's the takeaway.
Well, spoiler alert.
I would take Love Thy Neighbor over Dead by Dawn, to be quite honest. So, well, with that, How to Heretic salute to the oeuvre of Sam Raimi and Schlock Horror,
Yeah.
and Uncle Mark.
And
Let us move on.
yes, all right. Gentlemen,
Uncle Dan.
Talk to me.
here's how this works.
Yep.
We're on the internet right now. You, me, we're all on the internet.
Yep.
And we're voices in somebody's head.
That's right.
currently. They're listening to us.
These glass tubes are getting real crowded.
We're actually in the internet. We're not real. If you've seen
no.
if you've seen Tron,
We're creations.
that's what it looks like to us
of
right
the
now.
users.
I drove my light cycle over here, so I hope I get home alive.
Oh, I love those things. You know, you make those right turns, those
Hard rights.
perfect right angles.
Yep.
That's right.
Hey, but people, some of those people who listen to us are generous with their money because they realize that we don't inherently get paid for this.
Yeah.
The only money that we get for doing this every week is if people
Well, there's
find value in it.
Two sources. There's our listeners and there's George Soros.
Right.
Other than that, we have no other sources.
And so far, George Soros has been a bit of a no-show.
Yeah, I'm still waiting
we-
for that first check.
We are assured it happens at some point
Yeah.
along the way. But we're still waiting. In the meantime, though, we've got some folks to thank, and these are people who have reached out to us and or have gone on to our website at least, which is howtoheretic.com, and clicked on the Patreon button and then gone to Patreon and subscribed.
Yeah.
And so we love them deeply. One person adjusted their amount to a higher amount, and that is Taru. So thank you so much for that. Someone wants someone calling themselves, and I guess I'll read the whole thing. Read Zero Sum Game by S.L. Huang, action-packed math thriller, Huang.
I'm sorry, what's happening?
That is their name.
Oh. I thought you were giving Taru her saint.
No.
Yes.
No, that's someone who is
I think you just activated a sleeper agent.
I think I might have done. That is not a recommendation from this podcast. It is just something that somebody wrote. And then also Jeff and Maggie are also contributors, and thank you all so very, very much for your contributions. Ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to be a part of our contributing choir of people,
Yeah.
you should.
Yeah. We're passing the plate. If you pass it back with some coin in it, we'd be very grateful.
Yeah.
Even if you can or can't do that, go to iTunes, press the 5 stars until your finger wears down to nothing, and it'll get to more people, and we'll have more fun and less of this fucking garbage that's going on right now in the world.
Yes.
And that's
Indeed.
the goal. So
Right.
lots of love. Thanks. Let's move on.
More garbage. Oh, Uncle Mark.
Yes, Uncle Dan.
Here, it's
This is good. This is gold.
This is the
Whatever's happening
this
here.
whole segment is going to be musical.
I'm feeling
You
it.
guys need to harmonize.
Dun, 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 dun. What are we going to talk about right now?
Stop hating the Jews.
Okay, so yes, please do that. But
Yes.
I think Doug wants to talk to us about something else.
Well, from time to time, again, we like to cover innovation, cutting edge technology, science, what's happening right now
Yeah,
in the world
Yeah.
of ancient scripture.
just on the bleeding edge.
And by ancient scripture, I mean some shit a guy made up in 1830. Go.
Oh, all right. Here we go. Well, as many listeners will no doubt know, this weekend is the 188th Mormon General Conference here
And
in
it
Salt Lake
is
City.
lit.
It is fire right now as we speak.
It's happening right now.
Yeah.
Downtown Salt Lake City
Yeah.
is being trod upon by countless millions of ugly shoes.
And I honestly, yesterday, I didn't know it was General Conference.
What?
And I was happy to not know that. I was
Yeah.
fine. This was not what I wanted to talk about today.
because this is, for those of us who grew up Mormon, the biannual
Yeah.
trauma
Yeah.
that happened. Now, some of us were lucky, and like my parents didn't give a fuck if we watched it, so it was actually not that traumatic for me because
Right.
I got to just have a week off of church,
Yeah.
which is great.
Yeah.
When you're a Mormon,
It was always on TV at our place.
Always on TV.
We weren't
It was on-
necessarily focused.
my parents had it on the radio.
Yeah.
Because it's broadcast in Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And back then it was, now you got the internet, you can get it anywhere you want.
But I tell you, it is
Goody.
Hurrah!
hot and cold running conference, people. 24 hours a day. You're welcome.
But what you have to understand is it is a nonstop 2-day cavalcade of boring.
Unbelievable.
If Mormonism is anything, it is boring.
Yes.
Yes.
The most exciting parts of Mormonism are like watching paint dry.
Well, now
This-
we're talking about the experience of Mormonism because there's plenty about Mormonism that's fascinating.
That's exactly right. The experience of the day-to-day life of a Mormon
right. Is
dull
painfully
as
boring.
fucking dirt.
Yeah.
And this is the dullest.
Yeah. If most of Mormonism is watching paint dry, this is watching dried paint.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is thinking about watching paint dry.
And this meeting amounts to absolutely nothing. It's a bunch of old white men, always men.
Yeah.
And honestly, it amounts to nothing but a dangerous depletion of Utah's strategic sherbet reserves.
We've got a reservoir under the mountain. It's fine. Don't worry about it.
For our listeners who've never met a Mormon, they love ice cream.
So, and I honestly didn't want to talk about this, but yesterday as we were hanging out,
Yeah,
Twitter,
so it doesn't make news often. Like
yeah,
this is a very conservative institution that does not change.
yeah,
However, we have there's a new prophet in town.
Yeah.
And he's got a new group of henchmen.
And he looks like you buried Bob Newhart in a pet cemetery.
right.
we will
and
talk
then-
a lot about the looks of these men.
and then dug him up after he had rotted a couple days.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I didn't expect to talk about conference, but yesterday Twitter kind of blew up, and as we record today, conference is literally going on. It's a Saturday-Sunday affair,
Right.
and there was one speech yesterday in particular that kind of lit up the internet. And given what's been going on over the past few weeks in this country, I didn't think I could be triggered so easily, but I was mistaken. In spite of the fact that more newsworthy and relevant things happen on reruns of MASH, this has been a pretty eventful conference. So here, for example, are a couple veil-splitting events that took place in yesterday's session. As part of the newly minted prophet Russell M. Nelson's jihad against the moniker Mormon, the Mormon Tabernacle Choir will henceforth and forever be referred to as the Tabernacle Choir.
The Tabernacle Choir at City Creek.
At Temple Square.
Yeah.
Just as IHOP became IHOB for a few weeks, and Dunkin' Donuts will now just be called Dunkin', the official musical accompaniment of the creator of the universe and all who dwell within it is going to try out some new marketing strategies.
Yeah, right. Which is funny. Which, by the way, just as some background, they have spent billions of dollars, probably at least tens of millions of dollars,
Yeah.
marketing over the past 20, 30 years to get the word Mormon to have positive,
Household positive.
And I'm a Mormon campaign.
Right.
and
They
all this
had
shit.
ad campaigns that they showed internationally. They've had all of this stuff to associate good things with the word Mormon, and then Rusty Nelson comes along and says, "No, we're not using it anymore."
Yep.
He's had a bee in his bonnet since he was 8, and finally gets
He was
to
8.
free that bee.
84 years ago, as a matter of fact. 88 years ago.
That's right. It's actually true.
So, as a side note, if you would like to have a Mormon apostle's name of your very own, it's actually very easy. Just think of a white person's name, a white person's first name that could also be a last name. Choose a letter from the alphabet, and then choose a white person's last name that could also be a first name.
Right.
There you go.
Oh my God, it's true. Spencer and Kimball could both be first names.
That's delightful.
So
we should come up with a name generator.
there's a million of them.
Your apostle name generator.
There's a bunch of them. Another major event yesterday was the reduction of the 3-hour Sunday service to a sensible 2-hour block.
That is newsworthy.
That's pretty big.
Yeah.
In the Mormon world, that's a big deal.
And let me tell you the bitterness that arose in me as someone who went to 3 hours every
I want
fucking
those hours
week.
back.
Give them back.
So
And my tithing. I'd like to have
And,
that.
and
Also
Mormons were super excited about it.
Yeah.
On Twitter. And
Oh, yeah.
What does it say about your love of the one true church if you want 1/3 less of it?
Right.
Exactly.
If the announcement that you don't have to have as much of it is the thrillingest thing you've
Yeah,
ever.
it's big news. So beginning in January of 2019, the 70-minute sacrament meeting will be shrunk to a 60-minute meeting. There will be a 10-minute transition period to a 50-minute class period that on the first and third Sundays of every month will be the traditional Sunday school meetings.
Of course,
Nobody
it's-
cares.
On the second and fourth Sundays of
Stop
every
it.
month, the boys will be segregated from the girls, and the boys will have their all-male priesthood leadership meetings.
Okay, keep talking.
While the girls go to their equally as important consolation meetings of the Relief Society, where they definitely will feel as though they are not second-class citizens
Not
and
at
have
all.
been thrown the merest of bones due to the collective tonnage of the suffrage movement, the 19th Amendment, the women's liberation movement, and the Me Too movement.
Yeah.
So there you go, ladies.
Wow.
Now you may be asking,
Sacrament meeting was 70 minutes?
Yeah.
it seems short to me.
Yeah, exactly. You mean that thing wasn't 3 hours itself?
Yeah, no doubt.
Wow.
So you may be asking yourself what will happen on the 4 fifth Sundays
Nope.
that will occur in 2019.
Stop it.
Shut the fuck up. That's what.
Yeah.
So, it's comforting to ponder that while the Middle East continues down the path to total and complete depravity, hurricanes ravage our coast, species are dying off at extinction level rates, income inequality is approaching medieval levels, fascism is on the rise around the globe, and we are approaching the inevitable Transformers Fast and Furious crossover film that the omnipotent being that is responsible for both my penis and the Crab Nebula, both massive failures if you ask me, is busying definitely his time with what might be the least pressing issue since the Big Bang.
Yeah.
Of course, this is a change mandated from God's own throne on Kolob. Or,
Yes, this. Nelson says this is prophecy.
Yeah.
Came from God his damn self.
That's right.
And then ye shall have minutes 10 of transition of period, and so it shall be.
Which is so funny because, like, the whole Mormon thing, the whole, like, we're not using the word Mormon anymore.
Yeah.
Like, that coming from God is, literally, it just throws everybody into a tizzy because no one can say maybe this is a bad idea to him.
No, he's the prophet.
He's not there. Once God tells the prophet something,
What are you going to do?
you can't say shit about it.
But, when Russell M. Nelson dies in the very near future,
Right.
not saying a good, bad, it's just, guy's fucking old. That goes with
Don't
him.
buy any green bananas, Rusty.
So, and this is definitely not a desperate attempt to make Mormon Sundays less of a miserable death march in order to staunch the full-on exodus of Mormons from the church.
Yeah, right. Yeah, definitely not that.
So, and neither of these things are the reason I'm actually so pissed today.
That's
so.
I'm sorry. That's totally what it is, right?
Oh, yeah.
100%. This is a way of trying to encourage, like, wealthy people to keep going to church because
And
it's-
young people.
Yeah, it's like
'Cause it's
stop.
it
Let's
sucks.
Maybe we'll torture them a little less.
Yeah.
Yeah.
that might help.
Mormons have 3 things to talk about, right?
Yeah.
And nothing changes. Doug's going to talk about a little bit, but
Well,
it's
nothing changes.
yeah. Well, it's the same shit every Sunday. How much do you need? How fucking many hours do you need to say the same thing every week?
Right.
So it was horrendous. So yeah, this
Same
is-
with conference. Why? Just do one a year, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
Anyway, so this isn't even why I'm pissed today. Today I am pissed, and I am pissed because there is a confluence of shitty news coming out of our nation's capital and horrible news coming out of General Conference.
Yeah, if you're listening to this in the archives,
Yeah.
if you're in the future and you're listening to this is right on the heels of the vote to make Brett Kavanaugh a Supreme Court justice
but make Bardo Kavanaugh.
after he was very plausibly accused.
There's so much bad news. We need a name for it. Almost like I don't know, the Devil's Triangle. Something.
right, yes.
Okay, well, let's start with conference. Yesterday, first counselor in the presidency of the church formerly known as.
See what you did
Thing
there.
on. Dallin H. Oaks, who looks like what would happen if you wished a cue ball to life on a cursed monkey paw.
He is the crypt keeper. He's the crypt keeper's grandfather, evil
Yeah.
granddad.
Exactly. He felt the need in 2018 to clarify some of the church's positions. So, quote, our knowledge of God's revealed plan of salvation requires us to oppose many of the current social and legal pressures to retreat from traditional marriage, or to make changes that confuse or alter gender or homogenize the difference between men and women. Did you notice how he snuck homo in there?
Yeah.
Very clever. Oakes went on to say that maleness and
And also a milk reference, very Mormon, very
True
on
enough.
brand.
True enough.
Yeah.
Oakes went on to say that maleness and femaleness, as well as marriage between men and women and the bearing of children, are essential to God's plan. It is the work of Satan to confuse gender, distort marriage, and discourage the bearing of children. He further said that, quote, gender is eternal, and we all lived it as our current gender in the presence of God in the pre-existence.
Also, fags are yucky.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, quote, gender is an essential characteristic of individual premortal, mortal, and eternal identity and purpose. And I watched this speech, and it's very, very triggering.
In case you don't feel you don't get what's happening here, what he's saying is trans people are awful and gays suck.
Yep.
He's just reiterating a hateful position.
He's coming up to the edge of saying trans people are just evil.
Yeah.
right.
I don't think he's coming up to the edge. I think he's firmly planted
and at very
himself.
least, they're confused and or sick.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
He went on to say, quote, our positions on these fundamentals frequently provoke opposition to the church. We consider that inevitable. Opposition is part of the plan, which I think he lifted right from the Dark Knight. He also spent
some 70s just want to see the world burn, Doug.
He also spent a great deal of time cautioning members against looking for information outside of church-approved sources, such as celebrity opinions or secular and scientific sources.
Oh my God.
He said,
Okay,
quote,
Mormons, do that. Yeah.
quote, when we seek the truth about religion, we should use spiritual methods appropriate for that search. What are the spiritual methods he's referencing? Reading the scriptures of which you are trying to discover the truth, and no other sources, and then silently trying to convince yourself that you haven't wasted your life. Prayer.
And then he just made himself into a hoop and started eating his own tail in front of the entire congregation.
Here's the thing. Now, wait. What did he do for a living before he...
We're going to get to that.
Okay.
Yeah. We'll jump right to that. In fact, so I just want to say, I watched this speech. I don't recommend it. It's 15 minutes. But for anyone out there tempted to think that Mormons aren't so bad, I give you Oberfuhrer Oakes' Triumph of the Ill. By the way, nowhere in his speech does he mention Joseph Smith, Brigham Young, or the Book of Mormon.
Well,
Interestingly.
he doesn't need to.
Yeah.
He's in charge now.
Why do you think that's significant?
I just think that it's part of this whole... I think the church is pivoting away from
The Book of Mormon.
the Book of Mormon
Yeah.
and from Joseph Smith. I think they're trying to focus on
On the important things.
They don't want to be called Mormons anymore. He didn't mention the reason for this fucking religion to exist.
We are witnessing a massive pivot.
I
The beginning of
Well,
it.
what's funny
right.
is that they're pivoting in exactly the wrong direction, which means that they're taking a left turn, and there's going to be a schism that's going to take the right turn.
would love to see a schism.
It's going to happen. They're going to skiz.
Skiz, motherfuckers.
You heard it here.
So let's take a minute and diverge into who exactly Dallin Harris Oakes is. Although
I always thought the H stood for hatred.
I never thought the initials stood for anything.
it's just H.
H.
Yeah.
It's like an honorarium.
Yeah.
Monsieur Oakes, who looks like if RoboCop lived to be 360 years old and became the police commissioner of Del Boca Vista Phase 97, was born coincidentally in Provo, Utah in 1932.
How about that?
At a spry 86 years old, he is next in line
He
to
was
be...
born at 86 years old?
Probably.
Pretty much. He's next in line to be prophet when 96-year-old Russell M. Nelson pops his clogs.
Right.
He graduated from BYU in 1954 and then the University of Chicago Law School in 1957.
He's a lawyer, right.
Notably, he did not serve a mission.
Really?
No, he did not.
I didn't know you could get to his rank with that.
It's rare, and he doesn't talk about it a lot. He has referenced it, and he says basically
He was pregnant.
The Lord needed him elsewhere. He was pregnant.
The Lord needed him elsewhere.
He went on to be president of BYU from 1971 to 1980, becoming only the 8th white man in a row to do so.
Wow.
Yeah. So
A streak that has continued.
it is unbroken. Here's an unexpected tidbit. He clerked for Chief Justice Earl Warren for a time. That is Brown v. Board of Education and Miranda v. Arizona Earl Warren.
Wow.
Which I'm sure he now decries. As
Right. Well,
being-
it's also the same Earl Warren that championed Japanese internment in 1942, but life is complicated.
You got to break a few eggs. You know what I'm saying?
As his legal career proceeded, eventually landing him on the Utah Supreme Court, his unlikely climb up the Mormon hierarchy as a simple white kid from Utah County proceeded concurrently. He became a state president in 1961 and then was elevated directly to apostle in 1984. So
Wow.
pretty meteoric rise. All this is
I didn't realize he was one of our Supreme Court justices.
Yeah, he was for a time.
That's
I mean,
great.
surprised that. I mean,
That's why our laws are amazing.
Yeah, that's right.
That is why Utah is so awesome.
Yeah.
So all this is to say that Dallin H. Oakes was raised in, nurtured in, matured in, and became a leader in a religion that believed that black people were cursed and lesser by dint of God than white people until 1978. That women were secondary citizens who must, if they must have the vote, should cast their vote according to their husband's mandate, and that believed that homosexuality was a mortal sin and that shock therapy was a valid and merciful way to cure it. So,
Wow.
we ex-Mormons...
He's on a journey.
He's on
a journey.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we ex-Mormons in Utah have to endure I'm sorry, I'm a little pissed off. We have to endure the constant bleeding of groups such as Affirmation, which claim that you can be a faithful Mormon and be pro-gay. No, you can't. And I don't want to piss in the Cheerios of anybody trying to make the world a better place, but from the very mouth of Dr. Bunsen Honeydew's great-grandfather, you cannot be both.
Here's the thing. I think about this, especially this newfound, new because they weren't forced to comment on it until fairly recently, but this hatred of the trans community.
Yeah.
A lot of these, Rusty Nelson himself, the prophet his damn self, was a doctor. He was a surgeon.
Yeah.
He knows full well that something like 1 in every 1,000 or 1,500 births is intersex.
Shut up.
So, if you want this gender binary to work that you're telling, what are you doing with those guys?
Yeah, talk to fucking God.
Yeah,
He's the one
exactly.
causing
Because
this
he
problem.
keeps messing up.
Yeah.
If you think that the existence of intersex births is in the top 10,000 problematic things about Mormons have to explain away,
Yeah.
Right.
It's not.
Yeah.
But
But it's there.
what makes me I'm a gay man. I certainly suffered under the yoke of Mormonism, and I'm trying to do my part now, but I'm okay. And this vitriol against the trans community
Yeah.
is infuriating.
Infuriating.
They
yeah.
they don't have enough fucking going on in their lives.
They are the population in need of the most empathy and understanding and protection and fucking love.
Right.
From a religion that pretends to be the wellspring of love in the world.
Right. The gateway to the actual to the physical body of Jesus
Yeah.
is this thing.
Yeah.
And and I big disclaimer here, I'm in no way connecting trans issues to disability. But you might as well just be talking shit about disabled people, right? It's that fucking ugly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they wouldn't do that.
Yeah.
You might as well be talking about blonde people, for Christ's sake. You might as well be talking about anything that's just different.
Yeah.
You pick a group that
But blonde people have power in this world.
That's exactly right.
And
Well,
disabled
you're picking
people
a group
don't, and
that
trans people
right.
don't.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
You're picking another, but you're picking the other with the least amount of power.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
And that
Right.
can't fight back.
Right.
So if you want to be
They're
an
starting to fight back.
Yeah, they are. I don't mean to disempower or anything like that.
Right.
But I think the motivation on the side of the Mormons is to choose the population they think can't fight back.
And that they think nobody cares about.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
Right.
But
And-
I'm just
and
saying,
they're
like,
wrong.
in terms of the randomness of this choice,
Right.
it's just so, it's just an other, it's just a different, it's just a whatever.
Yeah.
And I'm uncomfortable with it because because I wasn't raised with this concept.
But these people are so politics based. I think that they see it as a group of people nobody cares about.
Yeah.
And a group of people that can't fight back.
Right.
Right. And so there's no political downside
Yeah.
to attacking those people.
Well, and there's such savvy in his message because he mentions the opposition, which I guess am us, and says
he's talking about us.
and says they're evil and we expect it and we know it's coming, and when it comes, don't listen to them.
They're agents of Satan.
Agents of Satan.
Right. You don't have to listen to us. You don't have to listen to.
Yeah.
Don't listen to that other side. They're just purely evil. They have no motivation.
So when I go and I talk to my fucking in-laws, and all I'm trying to do is just be an advocate for a little bit more love, a
Yeah.
little bit more kindness, a
Yeah.
little bit more caring. You don't have to believe what I believe. I'm not advocating that.
Yep.
You should, but I'm not advocating that. Just a little more charity in your heart. And though these guys will fucking say all day long, night and day, that they are all about charity and all about love and all about loving the sinner but hating the sin, or whatever the fuck they want to say, they're about hatred.
Yeah. So
And that's what they're teaching.
If you want to be an active Mormon and be pro-gay or pro-trans, you can do that, but you have to live with the fact that you're a dues-paying member of an organization that wishes for their extermination.
A hate group.
Yeah, and since the Nazis gave concentration camps a bad name, forcing young gay kids and trans kids to commit suicide one by one will have to do. So I'm sorry, but that's the lifestyle you've chosen.
Yep.
So,
Right.
So
And
to
remember,
all of our Mormon listeners that are still active,
well,
both of you.
you can tell this is triggering.
Yeah,
We'll talk
we're
about
all
this
pretty animated about
Right.
this.
Yeah.
And I want to make one quick correction to something I said. The trans community has not just started to fight back; they always have been.
Of course.
The first shoe and the first rock, brick thrown at Stonewall were trans women.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So they have been fighting for their lives forever.
Yeah.
And this just makes it harder.
Yeah.
It should more people are on their side, and that's always a positive.
And I think the Mormons are going to find that this is a hot stove they touched.
Yeah.
Because it's
I think they've built up some pretty mighty calluses over the centuries. The Mormons have.
for sure. But the callousness, and I don't know what it serves. I don't know.
It serves nothing. It's what are they getting out of this? What's the positive they're deriving?
I mean, John Dillon just tweeted while we were sitting here a while ago, another podcaster from the Mormon Universe here in Utah, that there was a young suicide in Provo last night. A gay kid killed himself. He doesn't know if it can be directly, attributed to this, but this
Right.
is the atmosphere. This is I love this place. I love my city. We've made wonderful lives for ourselves here, but this is part of the fucking atmosphere we live with here.
Yeah.
And I have major issues with Affirmation, which is a Mormon support group, LGBT support group. I won't go as far as Doug, but I am mad about the whole thing. But I don't disagree that if you are an active Mormon and you want to be an LGBTQI ally, you have to leave.
I don't
think you have
think you
to
can
leave
be
now.
both things.
And if you have a kid in your life that you have an inkling that they might be queer, you got to leave.
Yeah.
You got to get out.
So-
you're paying money to a hate group
Yeah.
is enough to send the message to the kid. Even if all of the talk at home is love and is acceptance and stuff, being a member of the organization sends the message.
Yes. Yesterday-
Your children are watching you.
Yesterday, a young child who was either trans or gay and not out was forced to watch that speech by their parents.
Was
that
sitting in the
happened
room.
yesterday.
Yeah.
It happened in households across the country.
Yes.
It
Across
happened
the world.
It happened in hundreds of households.
Yes. So we talk a lot about the Mormons, and they are less than 2% of the population
Of the U.S.
of the United States.
Yeah.
But there's reasons that we talk about them. First of all, it's fascinating. But I mentioned a confluence between today's events, yesterday's events in the nation's capital, and those taking place in Washington D.C. It bears mentioning that 4 members of the Republican Judiciary Committee that just aided and abetted the
rapist.
elevation of Chaz Osborne from Back to School / Roy Stalin from Better Off Dead to the Supreme Court are devout Mormons.
Right.
Yeah.
Orrin Hatch, Mike Lee, Mike Crapo, and America's Coward, Jeff Flake.
Yeah.
They're 4 devout Mormons who definitely watched that speech yesterday.
Yeah.
And without a doubt, the 4 of them were watching White Skull's speech at General Conference while sharing high fives with Squee, PJ, and Donkey Dong Doug. So I'm deflated. If we didn't have enough bad news in politics, the Dallin H. Oaks had to come out and just reaffirm that the Mormon Church is a hate group.
Well, and to separate the politics from religion, I think we've learned. I think we can categorically say there has never been a moment in human history when there was politics and religion when they weren't intertwined inextricably.
Right. When one wasn't trying to insinuate itself into the other with every cell
And
of
that
its
is what is happening. The Mormons are vastly overrepresented in Washington.
Yeah.
And those senators, those Congress people are required by their religion. The cynic in me says none of them fucking believe a word of it, but they're required by their religion to obey and
Affirm
show
everything
deference
they say, yeah.
everything that is fucking said by these trolls
Yeah.
Yeah.
downtown in Salt Lake City.
Yep.
So that is what was said yesterday in that in that conference can be understood to be exactly what Orrin Hatch, Mike Crapo, Jeff Flake, and who's the other piece of shit?
Or Mike Lee.
Mike
I
Lee.
forget Mike Lee.
How can you not?
Right.
That is what they think about the world.
Yeah.
And that's just it's fucking unacceptable. I don't know what to do about it. But all I can say is if you have any connection to the editorial position of the How to Heretic is if you have any position to the Mormon Church, any relationship to the Mormon Church, you have to end it.
Yeah.
You have to walk away from it. And you also, we talked about confrontation a couple episodes ago. I think you got to talk to your fucking Mormon families about this.
Yeah, and I like you, Mark. I don't want to bag on affirmation per se.
Right.
There's several organizations that are trying to kind of moderate the positions of the Mormon Church. All I'm saying
And
is
bridge those gaps.
and bridge those gaps.
They're trying to square a circle that can't be squared.
Exactly. And all I'm saying is yesterday the religion showed its colors again for the millionth time.
Right.
This is doctrine.
Yeah.
So that you can't be one and the other. You have to take a side.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. So.
We love you. If you're, whatever your situation is out there, we love you. But I think this is a watershed moment of a million with Mormonism.
Yeah,
And
just another one.
You have to act according to your best ethical understanding. And I think it is, you got to leave.
Okay.
Sorry, guys. That was fun.
Let us all breathe. Take some cleansing breaths.
I feel good.
Go get some Reiki or whatever, and let's
I
move
feel
on.
good. Okay, bye.
Well, friends, that is it for this week's show.
Hey, we'd love to hear from you guys. Send us an email, howto@howtoheretic.com.
Or you can address any of your Army of Darkness questions to our voice message system at 903-88-HOW-TO, which is 903-884-6986.
But mostly, if you have Army of Darkness stuff, just go to the Twitter page and at Mark,
I'll tell you all about it.
which is at howtoheretic. Thanks so much one more time to our patrons.
Thanks to Cody Layton for editing the show.
And thank all of you all for tuning in.
Thanks, everybody.
Bye.